Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ah, that's a little better. Free the land and the spirit of our great hero and who descendants named after Shogwe Lumumba. Let's say, free the land.
Free the land.
Okay, and the spirit of the movement and the spirit of the movement as I evolved from, I will say to you, all power to the people. This is, let me hear you say that, all power to the people. Okay, and I say that based on this. I was introduced by the young lady as a activist, and I have evolved from a movement the 60s and the 70s, and which has taken me quite a bit of places, and one of the places that movement has taken me is through the Black Panther Party. So I say, that's why I say all power to the people. And what I'm so reminded of, and when we talk about human rights and how much things are still having come of age through a period of 60s, 70s, those turbulent years, and all those issues that we were fighting for. And right here in Mississippi, most of the focus was on civil rights, and perhaps that is in many things that had to do with integration, integrated with white folks. And so many human rights violations exist during that period, and which made the strategy in terms of addressing those got all convoluted, and so that fast and forward that the Panther, I'm so reminded that many of the issues, as I look at the issues that we address today as it relates to human rights, the right to education, the right to workers' rights, and police brutality, and mass incarceration, and how this is the Black Panther Party's 50th year anniversary, and how much of those issues that we're addressing today were the same issues. So how we fast forward 50 years later, there's been a lot of it has been a lot of 50th year anniversary celebrations, and in all those celebrations, what I'm often reminded of, and what is so disheartening, is how little things have changed, and how those human rights, how those things when I was a Panther, those 10-point programs that we addressed, pretty much addressed human rights violations such as the right to determine oneself, the freedom to determine our own black communities, and the want for full employment, and how all those issues are so very still so very real, the end of police brutality, and how much things seem to have changed, but certainly have changed for the worse. And having lived in New York for 32 years of my life, and come back home and realize that when I went to New York, how those same issues, the same human rights issues exist here in Mississippi, and also exist here in New York. And having come back to Mississippi, particularly with housing, and the inhumane condition in which African Americans are made to live, looking around at communities in which I grew up in, and how those communities have changed for the worse, not for the better. So that the question continues to evolve. What did the civil rights movement really do? What really changed? What really got changed during those periods? And so that all of these issues that I'm looking at, and I had brought the 10-point program of the Black Panther Party. We are going to be celebrating our 50th, so it's coming up this year in October. And it was 10 points that addressed those issues, okay? And I just want to run through some of them because they're so very real here in the state of Mississippi. They're so very real here. In New York, where I was my second home, and how I go back to New York, and when I see a black community that I knew is no longer a black community, that people are being dislocated and housing projects, and then that other people are taking over the communities, and the same here in Jackson, where we have white flight, and how our community is totally deteriorated. And so I guess what I'm supposed to be doing, I guess, is kind of welcoming. Is that what she said? Well, I welcome the opportunity that we are. I am so proud the legacy of my friend, my comrade, Shugwe Lumumba still lives, and that that co-op in Jackson is actually taking a look at the essential thing that is a violation of people's human rights, okay? Because we talk about civil rights, and we know that civil rights can be given and they can be taken, okay? But what happens with human rights are God-given right, and so I'm kind of with a little malady this morning, so I want to kind of get my throat together, so I'm going to give to my colleague here, and maybe we'll talk more as we get into the discussion.
All right.